start today in child's pose. Come to hands and knees. Bring the big toes together. Sit the hips back. Walk the arms forward if the body's okay with that, and bring the forehead down to the mat. So we're just starting out. You want to feel like it's a relaxing shape to be in. So if child's pose bothers you anywhere, make adjustments. So you could lift the hips up higher. The arms don't need to go all the way out if there's something going on with the upper body. Start to take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel the back and the rib cage spread. Slow exhale back out through the nose. 2 more like that together. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale in through the nose. And right back out. Keep going on your own. As you start to make space in the body with the breath, maybe the shape gets a little bit bigger. That could mean crawling the hands forward. That's feeling okay. Maybe even lifting the forearms and the elbows away from the mat, pressing down into the hands firmly. Squeezing the arms together and reaching the shoulders toward the hips. So the sides of the neck are really long. Hips continue to pull back toward the heels. Breath is steady. Now that you have this shape set up, you're welcome to come back to it whenever you want. You don't have to be cued. It's always here for you. Shift forward to hands and knees. Bring the hands back so you're stacking the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. We'll set up for cat-cow. On the inhale, reach the heart forward, lift the tail. On the exhale, round the whole spine, chin in toward the chest. Inhale, reach the heart forward. Exhale, round. Keep going on your own with your own breath. You don't need to stay with me. Keep it slow because you're lengthening the inhales and the exhales. One more cycle. Back to a neutral spine. Turn the hands around. So you could turn the hands to face toward the sides of the mat. You could turn the hands all the way around so the fingertips point toward the knees. If you do this one, you want to stack the shoulders over the heels of the hands and then start to circle the shoulders over the wrists. Go in the same direction a few times. I'll let you know when we're switching and going the other way. You'll start to feel the wrists, the forearms begin to open up. Most of us don't need to even have that big of a circle for that to happen. Switch the direction, go the other way with your circles. Keep things even. Notice how that changes a sensation. One more circle all the way around. Back to neutral. Turn the hands around so the fingertips point forward. Let's get into the shoulders. If you need extra padding on the knee, double up the mat. Lift the left arm up toward the sky. Thread the left arm through underneath you, coming down onto the side of the head. Right hand in front of the face to start. So you can stretch that left arm way out underneath you. Maybe the right arm starts to reach forward toward the top of the mat. Keep hugging the belly in and keep the thighs vertical, so hips right over the knees. Stay here with that right arm, or you could reach that right arm all the way up to the sky, turn the right palm to face behind you, wrap the right arm behind the back. Doesn't matter where that hand lands. You're just trying to find where can you get the most space in the right side chest and shoulder for right now. That'll change throughout your practice as you become more open and you get warm. Right arm reaches back up toward the sky. Bring the right hand down in front of the face. Press into the right hand. Reach that left arm back up again. Sometimes it's nice to revisit this so you can feel what's happening in the left shoulder. Bring the left hand down to the mat. This time, right arm reaches up to the sky. Thread the right arm through underneath you, coming down onto the side of the head. Resting here, hugging the belly in, maybe sliding that left arm forward toward the top of the mat. See what that feels like. Maybe you stay here, or left arm can reach up to the sky. Turn the left hand to face behind you and take a half bind, left arm behind the back. Left arm comes back up to the sky if it's behind the back. Left hand in front of the face. Press into the left hand. Reach the right arm up. Check out the right shoulder. See how it's feeling. And right hand comes back down to the mat. Bring the feet over to one side. Come to seated on your mat. Bring the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. Walk the feet in. That's what makes it a deeper hip opening. It doesn't need to be as deep as you can go, but just make sure you're even on the sit bones. Grab onto what you can reach. Might be the inner edges of the feet, ankles, shins, whatever's there. And then hug the femurs, the thigh bones into the hip socket, lift the chest up. So you're probably already feeling something here, a lengthening of the inner thighs and opening of the hips. See if you can keep the lower body right where it is. Just start to hinge forward with the chest. It's like you're trying to reach the chest over the toes. Elbows can flare out. If you get low enough, let the head and the neck go. And then once you get most of the way there, stay there. Come back to your breath. Two more full inhales and exhales. Start to come back up to seated. Use the hands to bring the knees back together. Keep the soles of the feet on the mat. Come on down onto your back. Interlace the fingers back behind the head. Lift the knees up so they're in line with the hips, and then same shape we just did. Keep the inner edges of the feet together and separate the knees. So knees wide, inner edges of the feet are touching. So we'll do crunches with this butterfly shape in the legs. So take an inhale with the head down on the mat. On the exhale, bring it in. So you lift the upper body. You're trying to get those knees down low. So the hips do lift on this one. Inhale, come back to where you were, set the head down. Exhale, curl, hug the core in. Inhale, come back to where you were. Exhale, bring it in. Maybe each time you get a little bit higher up the arms, keep going with the knees so that you're working the knees toward the underarms. Try to stay with the breath. There's a little bit of a pause when you curl in, the end of that exhale. Let's do two more like this. And come back to center. So knees together, inner edges of the feet together, extend the legs up. So now the legs are straight, feet over the hips. If you want more of a, well, let's just start here. Take an inhale. On the exhale, lift the upper body up and away from the mat. Inhale back, exhale up. Inhale back, exhale up. Inhale back, exhale up, stay up. Keep the legs here. If you want more of a challenge, move the legs out a third of the way. Inhale back, exhale up. Squeeze the legs together. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. Last one like this. Inhale back. Exhale up. Stay up. Reach the arms forward. Hover the feet down by the mat without touching. Chest is lifted. Core hugging in for 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Rest the head. Rest the feet. Reach the arms overhead. Clasp opposite elbows overhead. Just let the arms rest on the mat. And then take the right foot, hook it on top of the left foot, lift the upper body up and over to the left, coming into banana, getting a nice opening on the side body, lengthening the core after heating it up. Both hips are on the mat, both shoulder blades on the mat. Lift the upper body, bring it back to center, unhook the feet, cross the arms the other way, so other forearm on top, hook the left foot on top of the right, lift the upper body up, bring it over to the right, set everything down, both hips down, both shoulder blades down. So it's not that big of an arc with the upper body. It's just like a straighter banana. Upper body comes back up to center, unhook the feet, stretch the arms overhead, reach out through the legs, bring the knees in toward the chest. You can rock side to side a little bit. And then you either roll over to one side, or if you're comfortable rocking, grab onto the backs of the thighs and rock up and down the spine a few times. See if you can balance on the sacrum. Maybe you even come to Navasana. You have to feel the core turn on like brakes to keep you in place. So you can play with swinging up with your momentum and then stopping yourself with the core and finding that spot you can balance on the sacrum. Okay, one more time. See if you can land in Navasana, boat pose, and just hold it. Inner thighs are squeezing together, arms reaching forward. You could straighten the legs or keep them bent. Chest is lifted. So you're just making a V shape with the body. Good. Cross the legs in front of you, shift forward to hands and knees. Let's come to downward facing dog. So hands are spread, fingers are spread evenly. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Ooh, and if your legs are tight, it might be a really nice way to open them up by reaching the heels down toward the mat. If they're really tight and it's hard to have the legs straight, you keep a bend in the knees. Nod the head yes a few times. No a few times. So you can release the neck. Then walk the hands back toward the feet, back of the mat. Clasp opposite elbows, folding over the legs. Switch the grip. Hands to the mat, heel toe the feet a little bit wider. You're coming into a yogi squat. Heels in, toes out. Bring the hips down. If the heels can stay down, hands can come together in front of the heart. Open up the knees with the elbows. Lift the chest. And if the heels are up, you keep the hands down in front of you and go for a long spine. Always a long spine with all of these. Good. Bring the hands down to the mat, straighten the legs, heel toe the feet back to hip width distance if you took a wider stance. Inhale up halfway, slide the hands up the sides of the legs, hug the core in, and then exhale, fold back down. 2 more like that, Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale up halfway. Walk the hands forward to the top of the mat, downward facing dog, keeping the heels toward the mat as you reach forward. Hug the belly in. Hips are the highest point of the pose. So when you hug the belly in, you point the tail up to lift the hips and then reach the heels down toward the mat. Bend the knees, look up to the top of the mat, step, walk, get the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. We're coming all the way up on the inhale. Circle the arms, bring the hands together overhead, down in front of the heart. Surya A. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower all the way down to the mat slowly with control. Tops of the feet down, hands back by the lower ribs, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Taking our time coming into back bends, inhale up, maybe a little bit bigger, but still smaller than usual. Exhale, release. Last cobra, inhale up. Exhale, release, down dog. You could do hands and knees or fire it up to plank pose. Lift the hips up and back. So many ways to customize your practice for what you need. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, get the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Arms circle all the way up to standing. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose. Shift forward onto the toes, bend the elbows halfway, chaturanga. One more cobra. Set the body down softly, tops of the feet down, lift and spread the chest. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. Knees bend, look forward, lightly bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Arms circle all the way up to standing. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Take up dog if you're ready for it. Keeping the legs strong, glutes strong, chest reaching forward. Up and back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look up to the top of the mat, get the feet up there. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Circle the arms all the way up to standing. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart. One more cycle. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back to down dog. Step the right foot up between the hands. Spin the left heel down flat, heel to arch or heel to heel. Come up for warrior two. On an inhale, straighten the front leg, reach the palms together overhead. Exhale, warrior two with the breath. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Stay here. Turn those right toes in. Keep angling them in. Turn the left toes out. Warrior two, back of the mat. So now the left leg's forward and the right leg's back. Arms out wide, hands in line with the shoulders. Flip the front palm up, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, left leg. Keep reaching up and back. You're in reverse triangle. Bring the hands to the hips. Turn the left toes in. So now you're facing the side of the mat. Toes are pointing straight forward. Fold forward halfway. Bring the hands down in front of the shoulders. So keep the chest lifted so that the fingertips are touching the mat. Heels in, toes out, both feet stays flat on the mat. Bend the left leg, straighten the right leg. You can walk the hands over to the left, but keep the chest reaching forward. Both feet are flat. It's a light skandasana. Side lunge. Come back to center, toes point straight forward. Turn the toes now to the top of the mat. Runner's lunge. So feet hip width distance apart, left hand down, right arm up for a twist. High on the ball, the back foot. Right hand comes down to the mat, step back to plank, down dog or vinyasa. Those vinyasas are optional. Take them when you have the energy for them, when they're feeling really good. Skip them when they're not feeling great. Left foot steps up between the hands. Spin that right heel down flat. So we're intentionally staying a little low to get this setup happening. Virabhadrasana 2. Use the right arm to bring you up. Keep the weight in both legs. Next, inhale, straighten the front leg. Palms come together overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, palms together. Exhale, warrior two. This time, inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg, turn the left toes in, keep angling them in, turn the right toes out. Warrior two, back on the mat. Lift the front palm up, reverse warrior, just the upper body. Keep that right knee going forward. Straighten the front leg, still reaching up and back, reverse triangle. Hands to the hips, turn those right toes in, toes point straight forward, fold forward halfway, fingertips underneath the shoulders, heels in, toes out, bend the right leg, straighten the left, keep the chest lifted. So fingertips are underneath you to do that. Both feet are flat. And you can continue doing skandasana this way if this feels better for you. Come back to center, toes point forward. Now turn the toes to the top of the mat. Runner's lunge, make sure the feet are hip width. Right hand underneath the shoulder, left arm reaches up. Find that twist. Left hand comes down to the mat. Make your way back, downward facing dog. Two more breaths and down dog. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, take chair pose, Utkatasana. Come all the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Okay, Keep the hands together in front of the heart. Press into them so you keep that chest wide, shoulders away from the ears. Bring the feet all the way together. So inner edges of the feet are touching as best we can. And then squeeze the outer legs together. Imagine you have one leg. Keep the focal point eye level, whatever it is, and start to lift the heels up. Outer ankles hug in. You're lifting the heels as high as you can, rising up through the crown of the head. Stand tall. Reach the arms up overhead. So grow taller. Try not to take the shoulders with you. Keep squeezing the legs. And then slowly set the heels back down. Big toes together, slight gap in the heels. That just means you can't feel the inner heels touching. Bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. So traditional chair. If you're having lower back stuff, you can bring the feet hip width distance apart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, full, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, straight to down dog, or take a vinyasa. Right foot steps up between the hands, warrior two. Get the feet set up, reach that left arm all the way up, spread the arms out wide. Inhale, straighten the front leg, palms together overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Keep it dynamic. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. This time, inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg, turn those right toes in to face the side of the mat. Keep angling them in, turn the left toes out, warrior two, back of the mat. And we stay here. So now's where you go through your alignment points, fine tuning the shape. We all have a few things that we're probably working on. Flip the front palm up, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up and back, reverse triangle. Hands to the hips, coming back up to standing, turn the left toes in, fold forward halfway, fingertips underneath the shoulders, heels in, toes out a little bit, bend the left leg, straighten the right. You could come a little bit deeper. Maybe that means the toes come up on the right foot, but they don't have to. Hands can stay down, or you can bring the hands together in front of the heart. Just make sure you're bringing that right foot in toward the body instead of away from the body. Hands down, shift back so the toes point forward, legs are straight. Then walk the hands to the top of the mat, feet hip width, left hand underneath the left shoulder, right arm reaches up. Find that twist in the spine. Should feel pretty good. Try not to take the hips with you. Right hand comes down to the mat, make your way back, downward facing dog. If you want a vinyasa, take one. Left foot up, right heel down, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Turn the left toes in, keep angling them in. Turn the right toes out. Warrior two, back of the mat. Left hip pushes the right hip forward, chest lifts. Flip the right palm up, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, still reaching up and back, reverse triangle. Hands to the hips, turn those right toes in, fold forward halfway, fingertips underneath the shoulders, heels in, toes out. Bend the right leg, straighten the left. Up to you how deep you take this. Right heel needs to be down. Maybe the hands come together if the right heel is down and the left toes are up. Hands come back down to the mat. Straighten the legs, toes point forward. Walk the hands to the top of the mat. Runner's lunge. Right hand down, left arm up. You're pressing out through that right heel to keep that right top of the right thigh lifted. Left hand comes down to the mat any way you want. Back to downward facing dog. Three breaths in downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana chair pose. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Bring the feet all the way together, hands still stay touching in front of the chest so you can keep that width across the chest. Find your focal point, straight eye level in front of you. One leg, like you have one leg, hugging the outer ankles in. Lift the heels up as high as you can. Keep lifting the chest at the same time. Reach the arms up. See if you can lift the heels up higher. Keep the heels lifted. This time, bend the knees straight forward. You're coming into chair pose, but you're on the balls of the feet, trying to keep the heels lifted. Keep the heels lifted. Reach the arms back behind you on the exhale. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Set the heels down to the mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, hands to the mat. Make your way back, downward facing dog. Right foot steps up between the hands. Find warrior two. Inhale, palms together, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg, right toes in, left toes out, warrior two, back of the mat. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up and back. Little different this time. Come up to standing, set yourself up for triangle. Left arm reaches forward, right hip goes back, left hand down, right arm up. Trikonasana. Turn that right palm to face behind you. Wrap the right arm behind the back. Go for a half bind here. Keep opening the chest up toward the sky. Both legs are strong. Left arm can reach forward, palm facing up. Take it to reverse warrior, maybe with the half bind. Left leg bends straight forward. Left arm reaches up and back. Straighten the front leg, bring the hands to the hips, turn the left toes in, fold forward halfway, bring the fingertips down in front of the shoulders, heels in, toes out, bend the left leg, straighten the right. Skandasana, surfer's lunge, side lunge. Hands come back down to the mat, straighten the legs, toes forward. Walk the hands to the top of the mat. Feet hip width distance apart, left hand down, right arm up for that twist. Left shoulder is rolling back, not forward, so it's away from the ear. If you want, you could play with side plank here. So rolling onto the outer edge of that left foot, right toes turn to the side. Modification, walk the right foot back halfway, press into the right foot to lift the hips up, or stack the feet. If you want more of a challenge, big toes together, slight gap in the heels. Try to keep the hips pointing forward. Right hand comes down to the mat. Any way you want, back to downward facing dog. Left foot steps up between the hands. Warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg, turn the left toes in, angle the right toes out. Virabhadrasana 2, facing the back of the mat. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, still reaching up and back. Come to standing, set up for triangle. Left hip reaches back, right hand comes down, left arm reaches up. Turn that left palm to face behind you, wrap the left arm behind the back. Fire up the legs, fire up the core. Right arm can float forward, palm facing up. Reverse warrior, maybe with the half bind. Send that right knee forward, right arm up and back. Straighten the front leg, bring the hands to the hips, turn the right toes in, fold forward halfway, bring the fingertips down underneath you, heels in, toes out, bend the right leg, straighten the left. Some version of Skandasana that's working today on this side. Hands come back down to the mat, straighten the legs, toes point forward. Now walk the hands forward to the top of the mat, feet hip width, right hand down, left arm up. So get your structure set up here. That right leg's really strong, right shoulder back away from the ear. Keep that lift to the left side of the body. Maybe side plank, turn the toes to the left. Maybe you walk that left foot back halfway and then just lift the hips up. Maybe you stack the feet. Maybe big toes together, slight gap in the heels, lifting the hips up as high as you can. Left hand down, make your way back, downward facing dog. And then you choose, is a vinyasa a good idea or not right now? Once you get to downward facing dog, deepen the breath. Inhale in through the nose, back out through the nose. Then bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat. Step, walk, hop, get the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana chair pose. Weight goes into the heels of the feet. Keep the chest lifted, but bring the hips a little bit lower. Chest lifts, hips a little bit lower. We're working our way down to the mat. Chest lifts, hips a little bit lower. Chest lifts, hips a little bit lower, keeping the heels down, arms reaching up, chest reaching up. When you can't go anymore, slowly set yourself down. Coming into Navasana, boat pose. Arms reach forward, chest lifts up, engaging those inner thighs. And then lower down, Ardha Navasana. Still reaching forward, chest back to Navasana. Lift the chest, hug the core in. Ardha Navasana. Navasana. Ardha Navasana. Navasana. One more of those. Ardha Navasana, Navasana. Come back to chair pose. Maybe you rock up and down the spine, grabbing onto the backs of the thighs, creating enough momentum, which is a lot, to bring yourself back up, not using the hands. If you have to cheat and use the hands, that's fine. I did. Come all the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Good work. So bring the feet together, inner edges of the feet together, find that focal point. Before you lift the heels, squeeze the legs together, feel the core work. Chest is nice and open, shoulders away from the ears. Lift the heels up as high as you can. Keep your balance, reach the arms up. See if you can reach up a little bit more with the feet, the heels. Bend the knees straight forward, go slow. Keep the heels lifted. See if you can come into a toe squat this time. So heels come all the way down. Hips come all the way down toward the heels. Knees go forward, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Chest stays lifted, so all the weight isn't just going down into the legs. Hug those outer ankles in, even here. Bring the hands down to the mat, straighten the legs, heel toe the feet a little farther apart, hip width distance, come into a forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, make your way back, downward facing dog. Right foot steps up between the hands, find warrior two. Inhale, reach up, palms together, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. This time, inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg, turn the right toes in, keep angling them in, turn the left toes out, warrior two, back of the mat. Press the right thigh back to straighten the leg. Lengthen the left inner thigh forward and the left outer thigh back. Flip the front palm up, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Same thing here with the legs. Straighten the front legs, still reaching up and back, reverse triangle. Come up to standing, find triangle. Hip shift back, left arm reaches forward. Bring the left arm down, right arm up. Option for the half bind, turn that right palm to face behind you. Wrap the right arm behind the back. Maybe left arm floats forward, palm up. Reverse warrior. Option to keep the half bind, you don't have to. Straighten the front leg, bring the hands to the hips, turn the left toes in, fold forward halfway, fingertips in line with the shoulders, heels in, toes out, Skandasana, bend the left leg, straighten the right. Hands down to the mat, shift back onto both legs, turn the toes to the top of the mat, walking the hands forward, feet hip width, left hand down, right arm up. Find that twist in your lunge. Fire up the left side of the body. Make sure your left shoulder's in place. Turn the toes to the right. Find side plank, some version of it. Feel free to modify. Right hand down to the mat, any way you want. Downward facing dog. Left foot up between the hands, warrior two. Inhale, straighten, arms overhead, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. This time, inhale, reach up, turn the left toes in, right toes out, warrior two, back of the mat. Left thigh presses back, Right inner thigh forward, right outer thigh back. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Come up to standing, triangle. Turn that left palm to face behind you, wrap the left arm behind the back. Float the right arm forward, palm up. Reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, hands to the hips, turn the right toes in, fold forward halfway, fingertips underneath the shoulders, heels in, toes out, bend the right leg, straighten the left, Skandasana. Back to center, toes point straight forward. Turn the toes to the top of the mat, feet hip width, right hand down underneath the shoulder, left arm up. Side plank, toes to the left. Maybe you walk the foot back halfway, lift the hips, or stack the feet. Left hip bone's pointing straight forward, especially if the feet are stacked. Left hand down, make your way back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, chair pose. Bring the hands together down in front of the heart. Open the chest to the right. Maybe you lower that left elbow to tap the right thigh or hook the elbow outside of the thigh. Just make sure your knees are even. Hips can go lower, chest can go higher. If the shoulders are open enough, you could also open up the arms. If it's too much, come back to hands together. Hands come back together. If you open them, come back to center. Reach the arms forward and up. Chair pose. Forward fold, straighten the legs. Stay here. Chair pose. Bend the knees. Reach the arms up. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Make sure you're hugging that core in. Open the chest to the left. Find your twist on the other side. You can lower the upper body, hook the elbow, or maybe open up the arms. But the chest stays lifted, hips keep going lower. Hands come back together, back to center. Reach the arms forward and up, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Clasp opposite elbows. Shift the weight more forward into the balls of the feet. Good work. Switch the clasp of the elbows, other forearm in front. Hands to the mat. Come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back to chair pose. Bend the knees, reach the arms up. Same way we went down before. Hips lower, chest higher. Hips lower, chest higher. Hips lower, chest higher. Navasana. Set the hips down. Reach the legs forward. Chest is lifted. And Ardha Navasana. Shoulder blades are lifted away from the mat. You can look forward at the toes. Sometimes that's nice. And set it down. Let the feet rest, head rest, arms rest down by the sides. And then start to walk the feet in. Bring the feet so that the heels are right underneath the knees, close to the body. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, find bridge pose. Could be a good day to interlace the fingers underneath you, especially if you don't typically do that. Lift and spread the chest, tail up between the knees. Feel all that space on the front side of the body. And slowly release, hips come back down to the mat. Rest for a couple of breaths. See how much of that you can let go. Second round, press into the feet, lift the hips up, maybe interlace the fingers if that's working. If it's not, grab the outer edges of the mat like you're going to rip the mat apart, and that'll help you lift and spread the chest. And slowly release back down. Hips touch down, let them be heavy. Third and final back bend, stick with bridge. If you want Urdhva Dhanurasana, you're welcome to come all the way up, bringing the hands by the ears. But we all start with bridge. Press into the feet, lift the hips up. If you're taking it further, hands by the ears, and then come all the way up, pressing into the arms of the legs at the same time. If you're in bridge, see if you can make this one a little bit bigger than the last two. And slowly we all come down. Let the hips come down and rest. Cactus the arms. So bring the arms out wide, but you're bending at the elbow. Backs of the hands can just rest on the ground outside the mat. Bring the feet wide. And now bring the knees side to side like windshield wipers. So your feet are wide, knees are going side to side. Next time the knees end up over to the left, stay there. Lengthen that right thigh away from you. There's an arch in the lower back here. Stay here, or maybe you take the left foot and hook it just above the right knee on the thigh. That might give you more length. If it brings any tenderness to the lower back, you don't hook the foot and you just keep the feet wide. Bring that left foot back to where it was. Release that left foot if it's hooked. Bring the knees back to center and all the way over to the right. Stay here. Don't hook the foot yet. Just focus on lengthening that left quad away from you as much as you can. Keeping the arch in the lower back, slight toning of the belly. And it's not arching as much as you can. There's just more of an arch than a rounding. Okay, if you did it on the first side or you want to try it on this side, right foot can hook just above the knee. See if that helps you lengthen the left quad away from you and still keep space in the lower back. Unhook the foot, bring the knees back to center, and then bring the feet back so they're hip width distance apart. Press into the feet, scoot the hips over to the right, bring the knees over to the left, coming into your spinal twist. Left hand can rest on the body somewhere. You can look over the right shoulder, the right arm, if your neck's okay with that. So you have knees going to the left, chest going to the right. Breath going in and out through the nose, up and down the back of the throat. Bring the head back to center. Bring the feet back onto the mat. Cactus the arms once you find center on your back. And then scoot the hips over to the left. Knees come over to the right. Maybe the right hand rests on the body. Could be the legs, torso, wherever it wants to go. Left, you could look over the left shoulder too if the neck likes that. Start to bring the head back to center, feet back down onto the mat. Find center on your back. Bring the knees in toward the chest. Open up the knees wide. Take happy baby. So maybe you grab the feet, but you could also just grab the calves, backs of the thighs. See how open you are. Try to keep the hips down toward the mat as you pull back on whatever you have with the hands. Rocking side to side feels good in some bodies. If it bothers your back, skip it. Or if you just want to hold still, that's fine too. Then bring the knees in toward the chest. Set the feet down onto the mat. Let's come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees wide. Here you can walk the feet in if you want a deeper hip opening. Arms can come down by the sides. And if you want to support the knees with blocks, you're welcome to. You just bring them underneath the thighs, knees, so that you feel complete comfort in the inner thigh area. You don't want to feel any pulling. It should just feel like a nice opening. Reach the arms overhead, clasp opposite elbows, let the arms rest. Switch the grip of the arms, other forearm on top. Reach the arms overhead, keep the legs. Circle the arms down so that the hands can grab onto the outer thighs, helping the knees back together. Extend the legs out in front of you, Shavasana. Arms down by the sides. If you need to lift the chest to get the shoulders underneath you, please do that. Let go of your breath control. And anything else you don't need. You'll start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Let's stretch the arms overhead, reach out through the legs. Start to walk the feet in, bending the knees. Rolling over to your right side, cradle the head and the arm. Use the left hand, press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed, sitting up as tall as you can, finding that posture you worked so hard for. Bring the hands together in front of you. Keep the lift of the chest, start to bow the head. Honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up. Blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thanks so much. Hope you had an enjoyable experience on your mat or got at least what you needed out of it. I'll see you next